Welcome back, everybody, to Music Talk. I'm Dave.
I'm Mike. How's it going?
And this week we're going to do The Pretty Reckless. And it looks like this. And this album's called Death by Rock and Roll.
That's right.
And, you know, it's got a pretty cool sleeve. It's got the words in there. It kind of opens up into a poster. And probably going to get in trouble for this poster, but this is what the poster looks like. Right there.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll see how long that video stays up, right? But so you got all the you got the lyrics, you know, inside here. It's got all of them, and then it also has who played on what. Your CD looks like this. It's black. Pretty Reckless, Death by Rock and Roll. Then on the back, you've got the tombstone, which if you look at the front, you can see that she's like laying on a grave type thing here.
Yep.
So
and it's got
which goes with the Death by Rock and Roll thing.
Yeah, it's got DX, R, and R.
Yeah. People are actually getting that tattooed on them now.
Yeah.
Then on the inside, it's got a little tribute to Kato, the old producer, which is this album's kind of about. I don't know if you know much about the story.
Is that a telly on there?
It is a Telecaster style, but it looks like it may be a different type. But I know she plays a Fender Telly. And it could be, but it doesn't look like a standard Telly. It looks like it's
might be one that's modified.
Probably so. It's got a different headstock on it.
Anyway, when I ordered the album, I got sent the Tuesday night music club.
Is that what came in yours? What does it look like?
There you go.
Is that it? Oh. Yeah, well, y'all understand why he's saying that as he brings his review forward. So, but this album's kind of like a sort of a tribute to their old producer, and I know I'm going to mess up his last name, but his first name is Kato, and his last name is like Kandwala, something. He's been a producer for a while. I mean, he's done a lot of other bands too. He actually died in a motorcycle accident. So, and that's where you're getting a lot of this album come from, is because she was so close to him. Talking about Taylor Momsen, the singer.
Yeah, well, in 2010 they debuted with "Light Me Up."
Yeah,
and,
and he produced the first 3 albums.
Yeah, and Soundgarden gave them their step up. They took them on tour, let them open up on a few gigs, and
yeah.
And
I mean, you know, there's a little more about Soundgarden we'll talk about as we go through the album, because some interesting stuff on there. So yeah, but this one was produced by Jonathan Wyman, who is another producer that I guess they kind of went and used him since, of course, you know, Kato died. And then Taylor Momsen and Ben Phillips from the band actually did the production as well. So a lot of this is, you know, it's all written by Taylor and Ben Phillips, which is the guitar player.
Yeah,
so they wrote every song.
Yeah, they got really inspired after the Soundgarden thing. Just started writing songs, I guess, right and left. And
yeah, because she did the tribute to it because she was good friends with Chris Cornell as well. So, and again, we'll get into that too on another song on here. So they recorded this in London Bridge Studio in Seattle, which is where a lot of the Seattle bands record. You know, you got Soundgarden, Pearl Jam did 10 there. Alice in Chains did Dirt. Soundgarden did Louder Than Love. So it's a very iconic grunge studio.
Yeah. I really liked Pearl Jam's 10 album. I think that's, you know, after that, to me, they kind of fell off. But
I agree. That was their best album, in my opinion, as well. So
it really touched the basis on a lot of different areas. But
yeah.
Anyway, so moving on. But.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, we'll go through the songs real quick, and we'll talk a little bit about them. The first song we got is "Death by Rock and Roll," title track, and I mean, right out of the gate, it's a straight up hit you in the face rocker. Yeah. Huh?
Hey, mama said.
Yeah. You know, It does kind of have that. You know, it does kind of have that. I mean, I love the tone of the guy's guitar, and it was really good tone, and I think everything sounded good on it. It was a great opening track.
Yeah.
You know.
That I could see where they used that as a little bit of a blueprint to write a formula for the song.
Hmm.
It reminded me of Black Dog, but it did not in any way seem like they ripped it off.
Right. It's
Oh,
you could definitely feel that that was the feeling they were after, but it
right,
wasn't like they used the lick or the riff or anything. So
right.
I definitely
Yeah,
see. I see what you're saying though, because it does kind of have that feel about it. Yeah.
just the way it was laid out, you know.
And I think she sang the hell out of it, man. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
you know. And then when we get to the second song, Only Love Can Save Me Now. Now this one actually has two guys from Soundgarden on it.
Cameron and Kim Thale.
Yeah.
Thale or
I
whatever.
actually looked it up how to pronounce it. It's Tail. Tail, yeah.
Oh,
Because I
that's right.
couldn't pronounce it either.
We're talking about Thai food, dude.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it sounds like a Soundgarden song. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's totally got that, everything about it sounds like it. I love the bass line in it. It starts out with a 7/8 time, which
Yeah.
is typical for Soundgarden, man. I mean, they're always doing like off timing things.
Yeah.
It comes into the song, it goes back to a 8/8 or 4/4, whatever you want to call it. I'm saying 8/8 because it seems like it's doing 8, right?
Well,
You're doing 7/8, then you're going 8/8. Could be 4/4.
7/8 or 4/4.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I love that song. I thought it was a great song. I mean, both first two songs were great to me. And then we get to the third song, and So It Went. And this one has, of course, Tom Morello on it, which, I mean, I honestly didn't really like the solo in it that much.
No, but it did definitely have the Rage Against the Machine type approach.
It did, with the choir and all that. I
Exactly.
felt like the choir kind of, the chorus there repeated itself so much that it got obnoxious to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I felt that way, but I like the song. Okay. It's
Yeah.
just, then it breaks down into that little, I guess, girly speak there for a while. Kind of reminded me of something Fergie would do, you
Right.
know? I mean, I was like, man, that sounds something like something Fergie would do,
Right.
you know? And then it just, I don't know. It was a weird song, but I think the chorus going so, repetitive to me, that kind of took away from it. And I really didn't like Tom Morello's solo in it. I mean, I
Yeah.
like Tom Morello, but it just didn't work for me on this song.
I didn't. I just really, when I listened to this whole album, I just took it as a whole. I mean, I wasn't really trying to pick and choose who it really sounded like, although a
Mhm.
lot of it was pretty obvious. But like, I mean, I didn't really notice anything out of place about Tom Morello's solo. I mean, I probably should listen to it again.
Well, the
Uh,
thing about Tom Morello is people always want to bring him on because he does those weird sounds in their solos and stuff. And sometimes it works. Like when he did the solo on the Dennis DeYoung song, the Last Guitar Hero,
right.
it fit. It was a great solo. But
Yeah.
for some reason, and to me in this song, it just didn't, it's just like
Well,
whatever. It wasn't anything special.
well, think about who he was working for with Sticks. I mean, not Sticks, but Dennis
Dennis
D.
DeYoung. Yeah.
Dennis Young probably wouldn't let anything but the best thing come through.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he probably had 10 takes,
Right.
So, so then we get to number 4. Let me tell you about this song, 25. Now, I think that they had a real chance to make this a super great ballad, but they messed up, and I'll tell you why. And listen, hear me out. Hear me out a little bit on this. This could have been the biggest song of the year if they would have done just what I'm getting ready to tell you. On the first chorus, when they go into it, and then at the end, she says, it shatters in my hand and then falls, falls out, shatters like sand, and it falls out my hand, right?
Hmm.
Well, she goes into this really big part, and then it shatters in my hand and falls like sand, real soft, right?
Right.
If at the second chorus, if she'd have went and just, belted it really high and brought in a super cool guitar solo there, and then knocked it down into that bridge section and then went into the chorus again, it would have been the biggest hit of the year, but
Yeah.
they didn't do it. And
Here's
then
my
on the third chorus, she did the exact same thing. She went down low again, and I'll tell you exactly where the words went. It says, and the glass of my intentions turns to sand and shatters in my hand, right? So she goes, and shatters in my hand, right? So on that second one, if she would have said, and shatters in my hand, went really big with it, I just think it would have been the song of the year. But doing the exact same thing on all three courses, I mean, I think they left that one out, man. They left something off on that one that they really could have made it huge.
right.
So which one did it sound like on Sheryl Crow's album?
I'm trying to figure out,
I know you're looking for the Sheryl Crow song that it sounds like.
I am.
But this is what I was saying earlier, Mike.
It's the one where she has a chorus in there. If it makes you happy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, this is directly, and that's probably why she didn't reach up for those high notes, because this song was almost a blueprint to Sheryl Crow stuff. It really, really.
Well, I mean, I guess so, but the beginning of it doesn't, Sheryl Crow's like right in on that. She's straight up the whole band going. And this one here had to me a little essence of some Queensryche intro, a little bit. And I mean, I get like all the, when they're all in and she's doing that part, I get where you could say it sounds like some Sheryl Crow for sure. Yeah. But to me, it would have been the power ballad of the year if they would have just took it up that one notch on that second verse.
I just think I think this girl is going to be haunted with the fact of sounding like Sheryl Crow her whole career.
Well,
I really do. I mean, she's got she's a great singer.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the tonality of her voice.
Yeah. Well, the last two songs, I definitely felt like they were kind of Sheryl Crowish. The rest of it, I didn't really hear that. To me, I'm not really a big Sheryl Crow fan, so I don't really know all of her material. But I mean, this band's definitely heavier for sure. Oh, at least the first half.
They're more, yeah, they're definitely more in the heavy lane.
I mean, I'm hearing a lot of 80s rock on this record for sure. 80s metal type. The first half of the record, I really liked. And, even when we get to the next song, My Bones, and, it kind of reminds me of like something you would hear in a movie when people are marching.
I thought about Animals, Pink Floyd.
Yeah. Kind of has that. Yeah.
I mean, there you go.
I mean, every time I hear the song, I think I hear a Viking ship coming across the sea, and then they're getting out and they're all marching, and
I hear the hounds barking.
Yeah, man. I mean, crazy. And then you get to the middle and it changes completely, right? Yeah. And then it goes back to that sound. But I mean, I'm thinking I was hearing Game of Thrones type stuff with the marching army, it's crazy. But I like the song. It was a really good song.
To me, it was one of the most, I can't say original because the other bands have done stuff like this too.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it stuck out to like, it really was, I mean, they stuck their head out there and put their neck on the line to do it. And
yeah.
I think, it
was cool.
It showcased the drummer, showcased the bass player.
Yeah.
Gave them a chance to actually stand up and say, hey, take a bow,
Yeah. That was a cool song.
Yeah.
And the next one, 6, Got So High. I mean, that was just okay to me. I know that one's got to be a Sheryl Crow one. Which one was that?
Yeah. That's another Sheryl Crow. I mean, right off the Tuesday Night Music Club.
Yeah. See, that one I didn't really, I just got written on here that it really didn't do much for me. I didn't really care much for that one. It wasn't, to me, it was kind of weird on this album. It didn't quite fit for me, but then we get to the 7th song, which is 30 Seconds of Halloween, right? Broomsticks. To me, it's dreamy, spooky, Halloweeny type thing. And I just said weenie.
Broomsticks. I got Witches Burn.
Well, it's a 30-second song before Witches Burn.
Oh, okay. Because the version I was listening to didn't have
Broomsticks on there. Yeah, Broomsticks is just 30 seconds. It's just like a prelude to Witches Burn. uh, which comes up to the next one, which is Burn. And I thought it had a great catchy chorus.
Yep.
You know, the only thing I didn't really care for in the song, but I thought the guitar sound on the solo was very hollow for some reason. It just didn't, I mean, it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't a solid sounding guitar solo. I don't know.
To me, it almost sounded like, because as you get into the last 4 songs on the album, it's almost like they were trying to wean away from the heavy metal sound
Mm-hmm.
so much, and they were getting into more of the folkish stuff, which is what I got down here on the Witch's Burn. Actually, I put down here Tuesday Night Music Club. No one said it would be easy. It's the name of the
I
song.
think you wrote Tuesday Night Music Club on all the songs.
Pretty much. I mean, because it's pretty much the way it lays out.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I mean, Tuesday Night Music Club is just the name of the album. It's not the
Yeah.
name of the
Right.
song. But yeah, I mean, no one said it would be easy. It was the Sheryl Crow
Yeah.
uh, uh, version that I was hearing when I was listening to that song.
Mm-hmm.
Good song though. I mean, but
Yeah.
I couldn't help but think that once they got back past the halfway point on the album, I'm thinking a lot of this sounds like could be a soundtrack for a movie.
Well, what she said in an interview was the first half of the album was about the darkness that she went through when she lost Kato and all that.
Right,
And then
right.
the second half was, finding some light in the darkness. So it got more positive at the end. And I
Right.
guess you could see that, but I mean, I liked Witches Burn. It was still kind of a heavier song, even though it wasn't as heavy as the first part of it. To me, the first half of the album really rocks. I mean, it kicks butt.
Oh yeah.
And then, it starts to, like you said, wean down a little bit. Like number 9, Standing on the Wall. I thought that was a great song.
Oh yeah, good
You know,
ballad. Nice production on it. I like the strings in it and stuff.
Yeah, and I love the way it builds up at the end. And her voice on this one was super good.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep. Oh
I
yeah.
really liked her voice on it, and it's a mellow song, and I just loved it, man. I thought it was great.
I think the way they line the songs up really works. I mean, it does. It really works. And
Yeah.
when you get to the next one, Turning Gold.
Turning Gold. Yep.
I thought it had a nice Cajun feel, and I found it kind of funny that they put that Middle Eastern zittar sound in there. I was like, okay, but
it's got a
kind of a Cajun feel to it, though.
It's got that chorus, man, that I've heard in something else before.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't know what
I was trying to pick up on where I've heard it before, but I couldn't pinpoint it.
I couldn't either, and I know maybe somebody else out there can tell us what it is, but I mean, I really liked it though. But I know I've heard that chorus, and it was really catchy, and I really dug the song. Turning Gold, got a good meaning, Then you get to number 11. 11 and 12 to me are almost like very similar songs.
Well, R&R Heaven was more of a 12-bar blues.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this song, Rock and Roll Heaven, sounded like Shooting Star from Bad Company.
Kind of, but
it was almost the same premise, man.
But you could also take the song too, and I mean, if they'd slowed it down a hair, you could have had Stormy Monday.
Yeah, I mean, even with the words and stuff, man. I mean, she starts talking about got her a guitar and her mom, and all that. It's almost identical to what Shooting Star was.
Yeah.
Then it came, and then at the end there, it sounded like something. Give me something to believe in from Poison, and I'm like, okay, all right, I see where you're going on this one.
Yeah. Well, thing is, and I think we talked about it earlier. Everything's been done before.
It has.
So, I don't fault them.
No. I mean, it was a decent song, and it kind of gave homage to all her heroes, talking about everybody that died at the age of 27, right. Listening to her dad's records, which I was lucky enough that y'all had all those records, so I got to listen to all that too. But then we get to number 12, Harley Darling, which is totally country, right?
Yeah, I couldn't believe, the drummer's using he's using blastics on this. It's not even using sticks.
And I mean, to me, I like the pun of the fact that it's talking about Harley Darling. You took my friend away. Now, is she talking about somebody took her man, or is it the motorcycle crash again?
I think it's a motorcycle crash.
Right,
Or,
because I mean,
or
I think they're wrapping it all up, right?
yeah,
So,
I mean, yeah, it's as you know, and I see it at work all the time on the weekends. All these guys get together. Hey, let's break out the bikes and
mhm.
go for a, a century ride or whatever, and have some
Yeah,
beer.
yeah,
Yeah, it's probably Harley Darling. Yeah, there you
yeah.
go.
And I really don't know much about the details of the crash. I didn't really go investigate it much. I do know that they always lived under the motto of "Death by Rock and Roll," and that's why they did the song and album for him like that, because that's what they used to always say: "Death by Rock and Roll, man."
Well, rock and roll heaven and Harley Darling.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think it wraps it up well. She
Yeah,
goes through her sad part, then she comes to the middle. She's awakening to, her happiness, and then she's, learned to live with it, is basically how it all works out. Sounds to me.
I love the versatility of the whole album.
Yeah.
It
There's
hit point
nothing
all directions, and
there's nothing the same on it.
they did very well at covering all those points.
I
And
mean, there's a few songs that follow the same formula. I feel like that she did, the verse, chorus, baby talk, third verse, third chorus out. But overall, none of the songs were so similar that it was like, man, they just did that. Like some of the albums we hear where most of the songs sound the same, you know,
well,
where this one was, like you said, it was all over the place. So,
it's all over the place, but you got to look at it this way too, because I think every one of the songs on the album I can find something to relate it to.
yeah,
But they did their own little twist on it.
yeah,
And that's what it's about. I mean, you got to keep it fresh. And it was fresh. I didn't want to change it because I felt like, one song sounded like a kind of lifted the formula from Black Dog or,
hmm yeah,
is that Black Dog or whatever. I don't care about that. All I
mm-mm.
care about is how fresh does it sound
Yeah.
and
And
how well are they playing it.
right.
And they went from heavy metal on here all the way to country rock.
Yeah. And I tell you, man, overall, the record, I mean, I think it had great production. The drums sounded good. They didn't sound the same in every song,
Well,
you know?
I didn't. The drums, honestly, never really drew my attention, which means they were doing the job they're supposed to be doing.
Right. And I think that there was a little bit of a process sound sometimes, but you're going to get that no matter what.
Uh,
The
you know,
bass didn't really do a lot in this record where it stood out at all, but
what?
there were a couple times when I liked what he was doing. There was a couple songs that had good bass lines, but as a bass player, it's not an album you're going to listen to see, what the bass is up to. It just wasn't one of those, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I mean, the bass and drums worked well together. They had great rhythm section through the whole album. You know, you had a lot of catchy, familiar hooks.
Mhm.
So I thought overall it was a great record, man. I was impressed. I think Taylor's got a great voice. She's
Yeah.
definitely matured from the first album to now. There's no doubt about it. Her voice is a lot stronger now than it was. And, I mean, I'm giving it a 7.9 today. Next week it might be 8.3 because it seems like the more I listen to it, the more I like it. So
I liked it. I was just going to say I was going to give it a 7.8. So
7.8. Okay.
I was going to do a 7.8, and I think a 7.5 would have done it injustice.
Yeah. I was on the 7.7 range, and then I listened to it again today, and I picked it up a little bit more because I was at the first listen to, I loved the first half of the record, and then I thought it fell off a little at the end. But then today, I kind of listened better to the end of it, and I liked them better, you know? So I think overall, it's a good purchase, man. I mean, I would tell somebody that likes heavier rock or any kind of rock because there's everything on here. That's the song Only Love Can Save Me Now. I mean, if you had Chris Cornell singing on it, it would be directly a Soundgarden song.
Yep.
So overall, I think it's a great record. Again, The Pretty Reckless, Death by Rock and Roll, which down there you can see it.
Yep.
Album cover is basically her rebirth, she said. She wanted to make the inside the cover, but obviously, if you go back to the beginning of the video, you'll see why they wouldn't allow that. So anyway, I gave it a 7.9. Mike gave us 7.8. Anything you want to throw in there before you?
No, I really enjoyed the album. I think it's well worth the money.
Yeah, absolutely. I
think
mean,
it is. I mean, and the thing, the thing that I like about what these artists are doing today, and a lot of them are using the old formulas, and I'm more power to them, because anything, anything to keep music alive.
yeah,
And uh, I know people get tired of hearing stations going, classic rock and roll and stuff, but I got to say, if you dig deeper than what you're hearing on the surface on these classic rock shows,
yeah,
that you're going to find a lot of music that's out there that people have missed through the years by listening
absolutely.
to Top 100. Yeah, Top 100 doesn't even tell you anything.
Right. And if you tune into some of our videos that we're getting ready to put out soon called What's in Your Collection, we're going to be talking about a lot of those records that you might have passed on just because what you heard on the radio, which I've done a lot. I've heard something on the radio and be like, and not listen to the record, and then I miss a lot of stuff. So, So anyway, all right. Well, I guess that's it for this week. And until next time, y'all be safe out there.
That's right. And listen to the music. Peace out.